What we're trying to build is an electoral platform that's far left from where the Labour Party stands at the present. We need a party that represents the working class. Unfortunately, we're not in a position of, say, Greece or Spain, where they built political parties out of their movements. We're a long way from that. But I just don't think we can wait for it to get that bad before we actually do something. We try to build a really broad base with our unity, if they will come on board with us within the Manchester area. They said they're not going to oppose us any of the wars that we stand in, and they're quite happy for individuals and part of their movement to work with us. So we really are trying to reach out into wider than the organisations that we already represent. We're looking at this year the election standing at 100 parliamentary candidates across the whole of the UK. It's going to be by far the biggest ever left of Labour organisation standing. We're looking at standing 1,000 council candidates. Hopefully, we will be standing 7 candidates within the Manchester Gorton. I think the important thing is that what we've got to do now is offer some sort of alternative. I think that it's within the unions and the working class, we've started to see that Labour just do not represent what most people think. They're always, at the moment, they're chasing UKIP on a lot of the policies, which is, this general election is going to be the most right-wing, anti-racist, anti-working class election we've ever seen, and it's and we need to offer an alternative, even if it's just to reorientate the questions that are being asked, within the election. I think really the main things that we're going to be standing on, within ours is that none of our candidates will ever vote for cuts in services. I mean, it's something that we will never do. I mean, we've got some extremely good Labour councillors who stood by us in the Battersea Library campaign, but when it comes to the crunch, they follow the party whip and they will vote for cuts. We can guarantee that it is part of standing for the Trade Union Socialist Coalition that we will never ever vote for cuts. Austerity clearly isn't working. We've seen that it just seems to be getting worse and worse, and all we're doing is heaping the blame on the people who have really got the least to be blamed about. We look at it's a whole international banking crisis, but yet we're blaming immigrants and the working poor for what's going wrong within the whole economy. So it's time for us to stand up and say, look, we didn't cause this crisis. The bankers caused this crisis. The rich are amassing wealth. It's time that wealth was redistributed, and it was there for us all to use. We're certainly pro NHS. We believe it should all be brought back in. To run. PFI is certainly something that we don't agree with, and all these contracts that are being given out. Even whenever private companies are charging more for NHS services, they're still being given the contracts. We just don't think that's workable. And we look at where the money can be found. They're talking about spending 100 billion over 10 years on Trident, something again which will never be used. I mean, that has been proved if you read into it, that if we ever get to the nuclear apocalypse that was always forecast, there's letters that the last 5 Prime Ministers have signed saying that there should be no nuclear retaliation. What is the point of having something that we're never going to use? Another thing is £10 minimum wage. At the moment, the state is subsidising private companies. You know, we're letting them pay slave wages and them having to be topped up by benefits. That's wrong. You know, most of the money that's being spent by the state on you know, into the system, it goes to people that are working or, you know, of old age. Why on earth should we be victimising, you know, them for you know, so that companies can make loads of money? Education, we want to see an end to tuition fees. Education isn't something that's just there for the rich and the people that can afford it. It should be something that's available for everyone, you know, so that we will have a well-educated population, you know, to go out and, you know, make a better life for themselves. I think that's really where I'm going to stop, and I will let the other candidates go on to their specialised areas. We'll be coming back at the end, so if you've got any questions, you know, it'd be really good, you know, to hear them. Thanks.